triangles. Another thing, talking about the hips again. Getting your hips up so you can make that connection. So getting your hips up and making that connection, what's going to be important is the ability to do that without a partner. So this is when we're having our movement drills for you today. Working the shrimp, working the bridge, now working that triangle position. When you come back, legs far apart, and then you're gonna make that connection. Remember your ankle and the back of your leg has to make that connection. That's the figure 4, and I need to lock the figure 4, and I need plenty of room here. Not on the edge of the foot, right here on the ankle. You take a nice bite. So hips up, make the connection. Here we go, ready, and begin. Good. Keep practicing those basic moves will help improve your jiu-jitsu when you work your technique with an opponent. That ability to get your hips up when you want to get your hips up, being able to lock that connection when you want to lock that connection. So a lot of control aspects there. So practice your basics for your warm-ups, and that will lead to better technique later on. So speaking of technique, I have my opponent here today. Some of you probably know this opponent or have worked with this opponent before, but we're gonna work on a drill called knee on belly. I like knee on belly. It's a good technique to control your opponent, but you need to find a way to get into that position. So we're gonna talk about the knee on belly position. This is the top, and this is the bottom. I have imaginary legs here. I can pretend their legs are here. Maybe their legs are up facing me where I'm holding onto the legs here, and I'm driving them from the outside. Remember? Side to side, I can grab it like here, and I can steer where I want them to go. Exactly, but sometimes we don't have a good connection there. Sometimes we might have our palm right on their belly. Possible position you find yourself into, or maybe you just start at the position. You're kind of in this position right here. It's similar to our horse stance. The legs are kind of shoulder width apart. I'll bring them in just a little bit, and I'm down low. I want to take my back foot and place it right by their hip area, and then back. My other side, my left, right by the hip area. So it's right in this range. It's right where you have a lot of control over your opponent. So that's where we're gonna place our foot position. We're just gonna take turns going side to side. So I'm here in this position, come to the side and back, 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 to the side and back. And notice I'm just focusing where my foot position needs to be. I'm not even working the knee on the belly yet. Just the position of my foot. From this position to setting up my foot position. Because if you can't set up the foot position, you're probably not going to get to your knee on belly. So now for the knee onto the belly. You still start off in this position, the foot still goes snug right into the hip. And look at my connection here. I'm thinking about my ankle and my knee. I can work my my whole body. I can kind of get a little control here to guide my knee down to the belly. And of course I have my hands right here, my hand to my shoulder and my hands to their hip. Hands to the shoulder, hands to the hip. Now my knee sits right across. Now there's a few bad habits you can get into, like your back leg, knee pointing down. You don't want your knee to point down. You want your knee to point where? Where do you want your knee to point? Up. Knees going up. Now look at my body. I don't want to get into a habit doing this because guess where all my weight is going? Oh, I'm going to crash to the other side. So I need to sit back. Put my shoulders up a little bit. Have my post position. Keeping my weight on the shoulder and the hips. And of course I have my knee on belly position. So that's your knee on belly. Okay? So back up. Go to the other side, same thing. Foot, shoulder, hip, knee on belly. And my knee should be pointed where? Should be pointing up. And back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that is your knee on belly position. So a few things for you to practice. Your shrimp, making sure you're not dragging down the floor, is keeping those hips up, moving forward and moving backward. The other thing that we have, the 3 positions: kickstand, elbow, and shoulder. Moving along to your bridges, making sure your hips are up, making sure you direct with your hips at the same time you're going over to that shoulder position to throw your opponent off. And of course, we just worked the knee on belly. Work the knee on belly nice and slow. Next time, we'll switch sides from the knee on belly from left to right, from left to right, and then right from left. Work both sides out. All right, till next time, we'll see you guys.